My name is Eleanor, and by all outward appearances, my life is the epitome of success. As the CEO of a thriving company, I've earned respect and admiration in my field. 2 years ago, I married David, a man who seemed to complement my ambitions and lifestyle perfectly. We don't have children, but our busy careers fill our lives, often spilling into weekends. Our rare time together is cherished, usually spent on yearly overseas trips, our escape from the perpetual hustle. Our home, a luxurious condo on an upper floor of a Bay Area tower, stands as a testament to our aspirations. It was a stretch to afford, but we saw it as a valuable asset for our future. Every inch of our home reflects the life we've built, spacious, modern, and high above the city's clamor. Rachel, my friend since high school, is one of the few I share my personal life with. Beautiful and ambitious, Rachel has always had her eyes set on a particular type of man. Well-educated, high-earning, the epitome of success. Her unwavering standards have kept her single, but she remains hopeful, continually searching for her ideal match through dating apps. Our friendship, born in the classrooms of high school and strengthened through shared university experiences, has been a constant in my life. We've shared laughter and tears, triumphs and disappointments. Since my marriage, however, our meetings have become infrequent, our lives diverging onto different paths. One sunny afternoon, as we enjoyed lunch at a quaint cafe near the park, Rachel's casual question caught me off guard. "Eleanor, can I visit your condo next time?" she asked. She had never seen my home, and her sudden interest piqued my curiosity. The following weekend, Rachel visited. Her reaction upon entering was one of awe. "This place is like a mansion," she exclaimed, her eyes scanning every corner of my carefully curated home. "It must have cost a fortune." I nodded, affirming her guess. "It's $1 million condominium," I said, pride lacing my words. Her fascination was evident, especially when she learned of David's substantial income. But there was something in her reaction, a gleam in her eye, that unsettled me. I shrugged it off as mere admiration. Our afternoon progressed pleasantly enough, with tea and cookies. Rachel's request to stay till evening to greet David seemed harmless enough. He agreed happily, looking forward to a relaxed evening at home. I busied myself with dinner preparations, occasionally noticing Rachel's frequent trips to the bathroom, but thought little of it. Then, a moment of dissonance. Rachel returned from one such trip wearing my necklace, a piece I treasured and had intended as a gift for David. Her flippant request to borrow it for a date was startling, but I agreed, not wanting to create a rift over a piece of jewelry. Yet, as the evening drew to a close, with Rachel finally leaving, I couldn't shake a nagging sense of unease. A quick inspection of my bedroom confirmed my fears. Drawers slightly ajar, items subtly displaced. Rachel had explored far more than just the living spaces of my home. The evening ended with an awkward warmth as David and Rachel exchanged pleasantries, laughing over shared stories. But beneath the surface, a storm was brewing, one that would soon upend the life I had so carefully constructed. The morning after Rachel's visit, the condo felt different, as if her presence had left an invisible mark. I tried to shake off the feeling, attributing it to my overthinking. As I prepared for the day, I noticed small changes. A misplaced item here, a shifted ornament there. Rachel's curiosity had clearly extended beyond polite boundaries. Over the following weeks, David's behavior began to subtly shift. He was more absorbed in his phone, often distracted and distant. Our conversations, once filled with shared plans and laughter, dwindled into monosyllabic exchanges. He carried his phone everywhere, a sudden change from his usual casual attitude towards it. Our home, once a sanctuary of love and companionship, started to feel like a quiet battleground of unspoken tensions. David's increased workload, or so he claimed, meant more weekends spent at the office. The gap between us widened, leaving me in a house that felt increasingly empty. One evening, as I sorted through some documents in the living room, I stumbled upon something unexpected and chilling: divorce papers. David's signature was already there, stark and final. My heart raced and a cold sweat broke out across my forehead. The papers felt heavy in my hands, a tangible confirmation of the growing rift between us. I confronted David over the phone. His response was blunt and emotionless. "I've fallen in love with someone else," he said, his words slicing through the last thread of hope I held for our marriage. The background noise on his end of the call revealed another presence, a female voice I recognized immediately. Rachel. Her words were like daggers. "I'm dating David. We're serious." The callousness in her tone was something I had never heard before. It dawned on me that the friend I had trusted was now the architect of my marital collapse. In the days that followed, I was engulfed in a fog of betrayal and disbelief. David never returned home, and I couldn't bring myself to touch the divorce papers that lay accusingly on the table. To add to my torment, Rachel began sending me photos. Her and David, smiling, laughing, blatantly flaunting their relationship. Each image was a calculated strike, designed to deepen the wound she had so callously inflicted. I struggled to maintain a semblance of normalcy. My work suffered, my social interactions became strained, and sleep eluded me. Concerned friends and colleagues urged me to seek professional help. Reluctantly, I agreed, and the medication prescribed brought a measure of relief, allowing me to sleep and function at a basic level. Then one day I returned home to find signs of intrusion. My bedroom had been ransacked. Jewelry, bags, watches, many of my valuables were missing. There was no doubt in my mind who was responsible. The theft was more than just a material loss. It was a violation of my sanctuary, a place that once represented safety and love. My insomnia returned, more severe than before. The nights were long and torturous, filled with a mix of rage and despair. Friends and therapists alike encouraged me to take legal action, and finally I relented. It was time to face the situation head-on. In the wake of the discovery and theft, my world felt like it was crumbling. The walls of the condo, once symbols of success and security, now seemed to mock me with their silent, unchanging presence. I had to act, not just for the sake of my peace of mind, but for my dignity. I reached out to a lawyer, seeking guidance on how to navigate the legal complexities of divorce and theft. The lawyer, a seasoned professional with a keen understanding of such matters, listened intently as I recounted the events that had led me to his office. "We need to approach this methodically," he advised, outlining a plan that began with filing for divorce and reporting the theft. His calm demeanor and systematic approach provided a semblance of stability in the chaos that my life had become. Armed with legal support, I found the strength to confront David. I sent him a certified letter, formally notifying him of my intent to divorce and the legal actions I was taking. His response was cold and detached, a sharp contrast to the man I had married. As the legal proceedings began to take shape, I found myself oscillating between a sense of empowerment and overwhelming grief. The process was cathartic, but also painfully revealing. It became increasingly clear that the man I had loved and the life we had built together were nothing more than a facade. Rachel's response to the situation was equally telling. She called me furious about the certified letter I had sent to her workplace. Her anger only fueled my resolve. "You should have expected this," I told her firmly, ending the call. The days that followed were a blur of legal consultations, sleepless nights, and emotional turmoil. Yet, amidst the chaos, a plan began to form in my mind. I needed to confront them both, not just for closure but for a sense of justice. With my lawyer's assistance, a meeting was arranged at his office. I prepared myself mentally and emotionally to face David and Rachel, to look them in the eye and reclaim my narrative. The day of the meeting arrived with a heavy air of anticipation. Rachel entered the office first, her anger palpable. David followed, a shadow of the confident man he once was. "We'll conduct this meeting with civility," my lawyer stated firmly, setting the tone. He began by addressing the divorce, clarifying the terms and conditions. The mention of alimony brought a visible change in David's demeanor, a mixture of surprise and resignation. I watched them, Rachel with her false bravado and David defeated and remorseful. It was a stark reminder of the consequences of deceit and betrayal. As the meeting progressed, I found my voice addressing them both with a calm, assertive tone. "This is the result of your choices," I said, my words cutting through the tension in the room. The meeting ended with a clear understanding of the legal repercussions they both faced. I left the office with a sense of closure, knowing that while the emotional scars would take time to heal, I had taken the first step towards rebuilding my life. In the aftermath of the meeting, I found myself in a whirlwind of emotions. The confrontation with David and Rachel had been intense, a clash of truths and betrayals. It was over, but the echoes of their words lingered, haunting the quiet moments of my days. I returned to the empty condo, its walls now echoing the silence of my solitary existence. The place that once resonated with shared dreams and laughter felt hollow, a stark reminder of the betrayal that had unfolded within its confines. As I tried to piece together my fractured life, the reality of the situation became increasingly clear. David had not just betrayed our marriage vows, he had shattered the trust that was the foundation of our relationship. Rachel, the friend I'd confided in and trusted, had turned out to be the orchestrator of my heartbreak. The images Rachel sent flaunting her relationship with David were a deliberate attempt to provoke and hurt me. Each photo was a knife twisting in an already gaping wound. But amid the turmoil, a resolve began to form within me. I refused to be a victim of their callousness. I took solace in my work, pouring my energy into the company that had been my passion for years. The familiar routines and challenges of the business world provided a welcome distraction from the emotional chaos. My lawyer, a steadfast ally in this tumultuous journey, handled the legalities with precision and empathy. He updated me regularly, ensuring that I was informed and involved in every step of the process. As the divorce proceedings progressed, I gradually began to reclaim pieces of my life. I reconnected with old friends, explored new hobbies, and rediscovered parts of myself that had been overshadowed by my marriage. Sleep, once elusive, gradually returned, bringing a semblance of normalcy. The medication and therapy sessions helped, but it was the inner strength and resilience I found within myself that truly made the difference. The nights were still long, and the heartache lingered, but there was a newfound sense of hope. I realized that this ordeal, as painful as it was, had given me a chance to start anew, to build a life that was truly mine. I decided to redecorate the condo, transforming it into a space that reflected my tastes and preferences. With each change, the memories of David and Rachel faded, replaced by a sense of ownership and self-expression. The journey was far from easy, but with each passing day I felt stronger, more in control of my destiny. The betrayal had exposed the harsh realities of my life, but it had also opened the door to new beginnings. The legal process, though necessary, was a labyrinth of emotions and decisions. Each step, from filing the police report for the theft to attending the divorce hearings, was a reminder of the betrayal that had upended my life. Yet, with each legal document and court appearance, I found a piece of myself being restored, my dignity, my independence, my strength. My lawyer was a pillar of support during this time. His expertise and guidance through the legal intricacies provided a sense of security amidst the chaos. The divorce proceedings were straightforward, given the evidence of adultery and betrayal. However, it was the issue of the theft that brought a new level of complexity. I had to recount the details of that day, Rachel's visit, her unusual interest in my belongings, and the subsequent discovery of the missing items. The police were methodical in their investigation, and my lawyer ensured that every legal avenue was pursued. As the case unfolded, the depth of Rachel's deceit became increasingly apparent. It wasn't just a one-time act of theft. It was a calculated betrayal that spanned the entirety of our friendship. The realization was a bitter pill to swallow, but it also fueled my resolve to see justice served. Meanwhile, the once lively condo continued to feel empty and vast, a constant reminder of the life I once shared with David. I started to consider selling it, the idea of a fresh start in a new place becoming more appealing. The divorce was finalized with a sense of quiet resignation. David's admission of the affair and his acceptance of the consequences brought a formal end to our marriage. There was no dramatic showdown, no explosive confrontation, just the somber reality of a relationship that had irrevocably broken. As part of the settlement, I received a significant portion of our shared assets, a fact that would have pleased me once, but now felt like a hollow victory. The money couldn't compensate for the trust that was broken or the time that was lost. The theft case against Rachel was building momentum. The evidence was undeniable, and her attempts to deflect and deny only added to the strength of the case against her. The thought of her facing legal consequences for her actions brought a sense of grim satisfaction. Despite the legal battles and emotional upheaval, I found moments of peace. I rediscovered my love for painting, a hobby I had neglected for years. Each stroke of the brush was therapeutic, a way to express the myriad of emotions that words couldn't capture. My nights were no longer plagued by the haunting images of betrayal. Instead, they were filled with plans for the future, dreams of what lay ahead. The path to healing was long and winding, but I was on it, one step at a time. The closure of the legal proceedings marked the end of a tumultuous chapter in my life. The courtroom, once a place of anxiety and confrontation, became the setting where illusions were finally shattered and truths laid bare. Rachel's trial for the theft was a sobering affair. The evidence against her was overwhelming, and her initial bravado crumbled under the weight of reality. The court found her guilty, and she was sentenced accordingly. Watching her being held accountable for her actions brought a sense of justice, albeit a bitter one. David, on the other hand, faced his own set of consequences. His affair with Rachel had not only ended our marriage, but also tarnished his reputation. His once promising career took a hit, and the man who once stood beside me with confidence was now grappling with the fallout of his choices. As for me, the conclusion of these legal battles was both liberating and daunting. I was free from the shackles of a broken marriage and the betrayal of a friend, but I also faced the reality of starting over. The condo, once a symbol of my married life, felt too large, too empty. I made the decision to sell it, seeking a fresh start elsewhere. In the midst of these changes, I found solace in my work. My company, which had been a constant through the ups and downs, provided a sense of purpose and direction. I poured my energy into new projects, finding that with each success a piece of my old self was restored. It was during this period of rebuilding that I reconnected with an old college friend, James. Our rekindled friendship brought unexpected comfort and companionship. James, having gone through a difficult divorce himself, understood the complexities of my emotions and offered support without judgment. With time, the wounds began to heal. The sleepless nights and heartache gave way to a newfound sense of peace and self-assurance. I started to enjoy the simple pleasures of life again: a quiet evening at home, a good book, the company of friends. I also rediscovered my passion for travel. A solo trip to Europe, initially daunting, turned out to be a journey of self-discovery. Walking the streets of Paris, exploring the art and culture, I felt a connection to a part of myself that I had long neglected. The trip was not just an escape, but a revelation. It reminded me of the vastness of the world and the endless possibilities it held. I returned home with a renewed spirit, ready to embrace whatever lay ahead. The end of my marriage to David and the betrayal by Rachel were painful chapters in my life, but they were not the end of my story. They were, in fact, the beginning of a new journey, one where I was the author of my own destiny. The sale of the condo marked a significant turning point. It was more than just a change of residence. It symbolized the shedding of my old life and the beginning of a new chapter. I moved into a smaller, cozier place, one that felt more like me and less like the life I had shared with David. Professionally, my company was thriving. The challenges of the past year had honed my leadership skills, and I found myself making bolder, more confident decisions. We expanded our reach, venturing into new markets and exploring innovative ideas. The success was gratifying, a testament to my resilience and determination. During this period of growth and change, James became a steady presence in my life. Our friendship evolved naturally, filled with deep conversations, shared interests, and a mutual understanding of each other's past hardships. His support was unwavering, a contrast to the instability I had experienced with David. It was on a business trip to Europe that an unexpected opportunity presented itself. In a quaint jewelry store in Paris, I met Alexandra, the charming and insightful owner. Our shared passion for jewelry design led to animated discussions, and I found myself drawn to his perspective on art and life. This encounter led to a collaboration, with my company's jewelry being showcased in his store. It was a significant milestone, both professionally and personally. Alexandra and I developed a close bond, one that was built on mutual respect and shared experiences. He, too, had endured the pain of divorce, and our conversations often veered into the realms of healing and personal growth. Back home, life settled into a comfortable rhythm. The pain of the past receded, leaving behind lessons and a newfound appreciation for the present. I reconnected with old hobbies, took up new interests, and surrounded myself with people who brought positivity into my life. The journey wasn't without its moments of reflection and sadness, but these emotions no longer overwhelmed me. Instead, they were reminders of how far I had come and the strength I had found within myself. As I look back on the tumultuous events that reshaped my life, I realized that they were catalysts for a profound transformation. From the ashes of betrayal and loss, I rose, stronger and more self-assured. I had not only survived, I had thrived. Now, as I plan my next trip to Paris, not just for business but also to see Alexandra, I do so with a heart full of hope. The future is unwritten, and for the first time in a long time that excites me. My story, once marred by deception and heartache, is now a narrative of resilience, growth, and the power of new beginnings.